This is a great example of a sort of complex, unfamiliar problem. And we don't get many opportunities for that, so I do want to give you a crack by yourself. The reason it is considered a complex, unfamiliar is you actually have all the skills that you need to approach this. There are a few concepts that lead into this. So what's the first concept that we can see? What's the first map?
A has been given already.
A has been given. So when you say A, you already know you're dealing with what type of problem? You said A and P, so what type of problem are we dealing with? Yeah, so what's that? Under the topic of what? Starts with C. Compound interest. We know we're dealing with compound interest, correct? So that's the first concept. What's the second concept? What do we need to do to this equation? You said we've got A, so what does that mean that we need to do?
The rule thing.
The what?
The rule.
The rule thing?
Yeah.
Starts with R.
Rule.
What do we have to do to the rule? We have to do something to the rule.
Do it. Right.
What do we want? The rate. Is that by itself?
No.
So how do we get it by itself? We need to rearrange, correct?
Yeah.
That's the second skill. And the third skill was one we learned about a week ago, a little bit under a week ago. It's to deal with, and I've heard people ask the question, how do we get rid of a power of
Square root.
not square root, what is it? Power of 8. How do we get rid of power of 8? What's the opposite of square? A square root. What's the opposite of a cube?
Triangle.
Cube root, correct? What's the opposite of a power of 4? Fourth root. What's the opposite of power of 8? So there are three concepts. You already knew all of those things. It's just about applying them together. Now, first step, write the equation.
Yup.
Second step,
P equals.
write what we know, correct?
Yeah.
What do I know? I know A equals 23,000. I know P equals.
15,000.
I know 1. Do I know R? So what do? Leave it as R. To the power of? I've got a problem now where I've got one unknown, which is the amount we want. The problem is the one unknown is sort of wrapped up in a heap of other stuff that we don't really want. So, what operations do I have? I have a multiplication. I have an indice, I've got a bracket, and I've got a plus. Tell me about that plus though.
There's plusing nothing. It's inside
It's inside the brackets, isn't it? So can I get to it? Have to get rid of the brackets before I can even worry about the plus.
Yep.
So what have I really got? I've got a multiplication, an indice, and a bracket. I'm not going to worry about the multiplication until the brackets are gone. The addition, sorry, till the brackets are gone. So, what do I attack first?
15,000.
Some say brackets, some say multiplication. What are we doing? Are we solving or are we rearranging?
Rearrange.
So do we use bombast or reverse bombast? So what should I attack again?
15,000.
What's the opposite of multiplied? Is it? Divide. Divide by? What do I divide by? Yes, so what do I divide by?
15,000.
Divide by 15,000. Because I want to undo the 15,000 on the right hand side, correct?
Yup.
What happens to the 15,000? Cancel that. What am I left with?
1 plus.
23 over 15 equals 1 plus R. Do I need to keep the brackets?
Yes.
Yes, I do need to keep the brackets.
Well.
So this is the third string to that bow. How do I get rid of that power of 8? Because that's the next thing, correct? I've got a brackets and an indice. I want to undo the indice. I could, expanding it is probably beyond my mathematics, so I don't want to see you guys do it. Because that'd be 1 plus R times 1 plus R plus 1. You get the idea, it's going to keep going. What's the opposite of a square? What's the opposite of a cube? What's the opposite of an 8?
Square.
So, can I do this? Am I allowed to do that?
Oh.
Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Done to both sides, haven't I?
Yeah.
So what do the 8s, what do the 8 and the 8th root do?
Yeah, everything's allowed.
They cancel out. So now I'm left with 1 plus R. Do I need the brackets? No, I do not. equals the 8th root of 23 over 15. Now, does anyone know that off the top of their head?
15.
Put it in your calculator. I'm going to come around and check that every person around here got that. Do one. If you're struggling with that, that's fine. This is a very complex question, so it's not supposed to be easy, but hopefully with a bit of practice it will become that way. So we get 1.045.
54883.
548. I'm just going to put, is it 88?
Yeah.
So 5489, 1.0549. That equals 1 plus r. What do I do with the 1? Minus 1 from both sides, and I'm left with r equals 0.0549. Is that how to represent our interest rates?
Sure.
How to represent them in the real world?
Percentages.
Percentages. So I need to convert that to a percentage. What do I do? Times it by 100, and I get 5.49%. You got that, well done. Well done.
I got that. After that. I gave up after that.
So what have we discovered just there?
Transposing is useful.
Transposing is useful, and that's one of those things where, you know when I told you about rearranging and how it can hide, or it can make it look like you don't understand concepts that you actually do. So if you got this question wrong in an exam, what would you probably put it down to? You'd say you don't understand compound interest.
Yep.
But likely, you do understand compound interest. What you don't understand is rearranging, or maybe it's how to remove the power of 8. So fractional indices. It might be one of those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Really important that we nail our transposing and our index laws, because they can basically overstate our inabilities in the subject. Having one little gap in that knowledge area can make it feel like you're not getting a whole bunch of concepts. So really important we keep up with the rearranging. Now for 3, I'm going to give you a little bit of time because I'm going to guess most of us got stuck on 2. So I'll give you a bit of time on 3, and then we get to those exercises on the board. Let's go.
3 1 70.
No.